Yamwakwa ba Edward say we would afidie no ato ha say me minty and waso egu a otie no ene eye benada June bosome na to so ensian fiempimi no ene aduono emiensa emunie donko abapa hosima aduono enan production cry crowd Jordan Admak Jeros Ajima Frema Bankron na Yalsafo Wada Roma no bo mi chidom awie na me di dwumadie yi abramo ye tene mo fi sabre ko se no 9 ebebo o share live on Facebook and YouTube. Your WhatsApp line so you activating it that is 05037211744 05037211744. Abusia for me din e de MAAME BIAMAH AKWAFO me na me di dwumadie ho chia me ne mo e di ahia free sabre ko se no 9 ebebo no 9 bo a Ola Michael Babeji adwa na wagye entatade yakofie we se no nsia bebo no nsia ebo a na chese ye kwa kofa no nsia kase ebo no every piece 104.3 FM ewie nchi akase pa enko Emma Honorable Boachi Ejakon former energy minister Honorable as I say or pray Frank Tuni Dibre wakwa picking the nomination forms that he was the first person now picking the nomination forms or Basse Kakai no or none of this Sakurai Papa NPP amayuko no my Ghana here or they eba Honorable Ken or Hene Japan or no so sin Central Mrashe Bejani or also akwa picking the nomination forms that ya wo babe pre Frank Tuni Dibre or NPP amayuko mo somebody can catch them more as we need a businessman to man the affairs of Ghana. Sa lawyer for Ababe Yebi, communicators Ababe Yebi, a soldier for Ababe Yuamudie, tax experts near church for Ababe Yuamuchefa, a brass was a businessman, so Wamutisim, near my businessman, quine, no mutimisha put two near ma together, no may it me fire into my pefra. When we are Bavia, now to send me no me and you benya a general for Froye, yet me the atta woman she said, Baya, or my dream. Poor ewo may hono e betimi abem kama ediama o my Ghana nyina nana ejeni mboaten nana mo ama hene awie baby awo bia nana memmo ha Dr. Christopher Ampedu the Samaritan man baby awo bia awie mema good afternoon Dr. Ajete Sowa Lasso One Chief Oye MD Vice President the Golden Star Resource and Wasa Mine Achempem Ewe mema good afternoon Lasso Dr. Freche Asamwa City Vet Reverend Eugene Appear Redu Prophet Kofi Odro Ene Alabaster Ebusuanyina Ewe mema munyina good afternoon Bibia so awutie mema good afternoon emo akwa basonko edeba mema ntijumedie so Ebusiafo ensem bebre na ekoso enne ye ba besin konwa na edi nkomo ede afa school feeding ho na ewo basic schools ena afenso no ye senior high school mu no eno so ye no ye enum ye nu ena enawie ye bebo eho enkomo pa na ye nya ntie ese school feeding caterers no aban ato enkwada na aduane no makoda bia na nka ye 97 pesos they say aban ese wapagem e de call 1 cedi 20 pesos na caterers no ese da bi we de yempe ye bonyo so ye nyintum saa enti enra na caterers no womo ene soafo a wo hwe emma na afi memma mofra na asetira mo bambo ensam so womne no ekokohia na yebekwa homa so na yakwa akodi enkomo ede afa wom ho sane ahyiamu no ekoba na afeso ne enti a 1 cedi 20 pesos wom so wom nsom wom nye esu akora no wom no mepese mehunu sika potia no wom hwehwe se wom sa ebetimi aka ni nyina ya aduane ho asem ye ne nutritionist so ebedi ho nkomo na ya hwe nuane ya caterers no akora no eka di ho adanse some time ago Jerry any former deputy minister for gender Rahel Apotwetwe nkomo ena all cancer nuane de omkwa apro no mutum se nuane we pa na de manipa da sane adidi a ene na enye kura etiane nutritionist so ne dietitian ye no beti nkomo na ya hwe sunsanso bone a esa enuane nura hodo a wo se wom na timi boa ebedin koda na dwene ma adesua no enimu no sunsanso ben ena ede beba enkoda no so na yene yifo so Food Suppliers Association, National Food Suppliers Association, womo ne buffer stock fo na edin kita ho direct womo ko fa nnuane ne free buffer stock fo ho de ba na nnuane a womo supply ne ade nyina no womo kire se eka bam papa be mfie manim honi etu womo so ye no ba twenkomo na yetete ne mframam esa senior high schools nnuane ni ho ene ade na yenim no krapotin a ewo sa ade no muti ye ne Food Suppliers Association for no ye no mo bedi hu nkomo na nanka ye pe buffer stock for Hanan yeso na CEO ma buffer stock ya bone pono boy wan fichi yempo se nipa enti so obi etemenka ene on kan kire Hanan ese ye hia no papa na buffer stock for mo so ma ba be yi mo ho ano a Food Supplies wo mo na di nnuane no ma buffer stock na buffer stock dia acheche akọ various senior high schools no mo na wo manya nnuane e dia feeding koda no wo mo kire se eka bam etiaban emomodin na ontua fa ma wo nye saade a ene on betinteso kokko pa atofom de akyere aban eti ne ensam miensen na se nipa miensen ene eno omo ebedi nkomo fa saa ennuane ho ensam a ewo emfitiase esuku na afa susu no entoaso suku no emo eti menko ahomaso yensa aka ye maame Juliana Kujo ono na Greater Accra Oye President Oda Caterers Association no ano. Auntie Julie Ewie Yama, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Na bibia bako de. Yo, where the any kai mimi sase eba ne sana once the 20 pesos increment no mo se mo mpe Caterers no.
Yo. Me tiamo see phone ya. Well, once the 20 pesos, sisa. Right. Imagine back we 10 cities. It's what you say, what imagine back one. Who bet teacher ama in quadrat thing. And I want that will be young still in London to come. You're constantly once city 20 pesos, no be signing so. Yes, see, you're not more my city. The 3 cities for about no, you're not 2 cities in my way. Once it is 20%, no problem, it's tax or so.
1 city 20 pesos. I feel no more better tax every so.
Yes.
Hey, Nani Abeka saying. Nana more, I don't do a sign and more pesicado do a saying.
Yes, see, 3 cities.
Okay.
3 cities, no, 7 to me, yeah, more, 2 cities in Pona, more than my 2 cities for your manage. Your manage.
Enti enra menya ne tie se mo ne minister ko hia e na nkomo te sen.
Ya no ko hia ya no. O kan kire ye se. O fa ye se. Na was an ka no ni kire ya na. Press conference no be ye no. From be ye. But ban na then say na wa hu. Yes, you can say ye ni. Now, what I tell yourself, once you do 20%, now, and you say, yes, you have a good time, and that's a very interesting, if you are first time payment. So, if you can tell yourself, once you do 20%, with the idea, what is the kind of it's only a plan and November.
Enti na sana aban benya e de amamo. It is a more than a Caterers.
I said no. We are advising you. Media maker. Well, better won't also me. There would not be before. This I near 2. 1 year, like 3 years. What I near 1. Because you want to mean them not feeding so. Now, what for Paka Abba so now. That's it. The woman of this station here now. I'm not sure what time. So they are advising me. And now I'm going to the Caterers. So they are advising me. Who are we being? Who are we and for beyond?
Now Akwa say each one for himself, God for us all.
It's not just I have bread. Media my bread school feeding in the same. My bread feeding. yes, the way I am saying, I'm really appointed. My breast is the very hard. Minister, they have been a time. The business saying, you have to say, I'm so poor, and that payment. The more try a cut, them, and that payment is the other one. And can be and see and come. And go be and see, I go be a but you cannot stand. No more try a cut to no more to your sister. Where you come here, you can't say, I am.
It's not just a nebinom so a cassa as he can even do a 1 city 20 pesos is swap. But Mojin in bulk. And he oh ye be and as he can no bob no dia in bulk noa. Yeah, effect to say a single person, no, and shut that and 10 papa. Dinkamun so musa.
When him boss, you know, I didn't it's in a big way, almost who say, on one now, one your profit. Who so say, yet the amount bulk, but Nancy, not showing your mouth within you a day. Not calculate a day, income a better. Now we do the canon, now we share the away. The brain, what is that? I know, look there. What costing Yama, it's in a cover, then I so big brain. What costing Yama, we are then what costing, we are then I can over Yama. Watch your way, let's can answer. The Awako son in Yamano, and no, and soon so I will bet Yanuka. Won't drink to come and soon. The other man will say, I saw him. It's a what's pen, paper, and soon one. I can't.
It is a sea the obia and fan one drain.
Only baby, I had me, funny, find you. Me, quadra, almost money. Me, but almost me life, special. Emma, no, it's me, yet in another room, I'm at the whole school video. This is my class, let me see your phone.
Yo, Auntie Julie, we are bedwassim.
I saw you.
Yo. I was here for your mammy Juliana Kujo or no NA president here or that school feeding creators association and no ena what say then cano said na all can el casano or just woman minister kwakoshia minister and one kasa what just said 1 city 20 pesos and noa ena aban ebenya because they say sika ni ho enti aban shebo e kan say bia oba aba betua 3 cities and 2 cities e dia momo a and I say e ntro anya dia aban ebenya sesika no enti 1 city 20 pesos and aban benya 1 city 20 pesos so kra fe and aban e better tax every so e better tax every so enti me fan say bia 1 city and 1 city 10 pesos and now bia 1 city 18 pesos and 1 city 17 pesos and na ebia ebeka e wo mo nsam no matimi ede djuma it is school feeding was obia nkoto no hofo obia fa ne ho adwen because each one for himself God for us all ontimi fight bi mwa bre school feeding ho eti ye maame Auntie Julie na otese ne no etwetwe nkomo no na ye nhwe nsunso ben na sa school feeding yi a enuane no enya papa utimo say according to honorable Rahel Apo o chese na ayi honorable Clement Park nso so kra bi dia to so esa aduane ne de ukona ukohu na ensem fata sese ye de manipa di ye de mankrofo madi na esa nutritional value nutritional content no enim ukohwe aduane ye de asi obi banim se wonni a areho ansefem esunsuanso bone bi e wo ho ana na ye kwa homa so na ye ne dietitian papa registered dietitian our rich Yera Frank eyimedu ye ne no edin komo Frank awie ye ma good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Nempom to say
Why did not?
ya dum hara kwa yenso ye ho ye pa we obi a we dietitian ase eba enuane mu yimu se de obetimi nipa betimi adidi yie na boa na pomoden a wogidi se enuane ye de mankoda e wo school feeding ne mu no nutrient dodo sen ne nkoda ne hia a ebeboa ama wo madwene anyini yie.
Okay. Madam was in. Now, you kind Bahura. And we much as said Abofra our work. A way a creek. I say, Bahura. Now, you tell a country into Sabrina. Yet, Namimi Sabrina. I feel so different intelligent quotient. Will be a while what, but the intelligent quotient is in a was our brain. Already one. If you want to a very how develop, then I call an obey. But I be really Papa Sam. That's why my friend say, you near hard. I say, who can I am moving here, and you know who will buy some vitamin or any animal micronutrient. Macronutrient, yeah, kabu, oil. I say, who come you will buy them. Now, no question they say, any micronutrient. And when they see the Abofana did it, and I mean, program that Abofana being a Yanipedi, no matter a dog, not here, that watch. I say,
Right.
it's the who been here said, you where you come and you pin die on me, okay. Who a bit messy, Capalana, Taka. The Mobonian in running so quickly, you will need to say iron. The one thing, vitamin, or vitamin, thing, and you never knew. Now, I dear, now, now, then you know, vegetables. Now, so and vegetables. Now, you miss us there, Bianina, yeah, vegetables, papa, good cabbage. That's the name. I come with you, and that's just it. Right, yes, I can't. Then to that, I say, yeah, bye. Yeah, much guinea, that we can.
As I say, government is so decided say 1 cedi 20 pesos. Fini ebete tax every so. And now betting me a tria at the caterers. Caterers and just say the can a woefully inadequate. Nya de bit me a drew baby. Each one for himself, God for us all. Apart from say government increase quantum of money or the market didn't know Adriano. Why for Frobi or why bit me a fast swab and Kodan bit me a didi.
If you MP, you know, near a so to where you are now, collaborate and fruit and vegetable. The government is one home. Fancy Sabekan. And so quality, yeah. Now, for the abide the actual the Median. But I need to have the orange and can apple, yeah. And now what I'm that and the fine, yeah. Even avocado pear, pear they would. It's a monocle any bit anchor, fire, and home. And can know you who say, and I said, get up one more friend. Now, for no near friend is snacking. A funny bit with the account, do no one. With me at the show, my aunt bag. But who said, oh, yeah, buying here. Now, I've done it now for you vegetable. So, one am by a come one. Alano Muzaka.
Why dietitian ni susu duaba na se adwempo ben na ubetimi abo e de akyeraba na ube suggest ube recommend e de akyeraba in terms of quality of food de ma aduane se bia won se aban mu for na nkasa de awe wo kura minim se wo ya awe se aduane na de ma nkoda ni bi won a enkoyie enti ye can say recommend the bibi emma government what would you tell the government?
Near the kind, as I said, you bought a band. As I grand night, and again, the bar buying a basso. And so, as I said, awofo ni to ha wate se aban ofrani eco school no o se da nya gaje bi anye yakola na bi ane obedi no we dey besra aban se ya fa so ko amofra no we papa na Ghana ye na you na mofra eyi die na mofra eku papa so very industrial yeah MAAME yenye ni yi na MAAME na
Frank awie ye bedo ase.
that's the boss
Right, you know abema Frank ayimedu and otese ne etwetwe nkomo no oye registered dietitian ewo Rich Hospital and wabebo ye nkomo abema ye nkyerɛkyerɛ ahodoɔ pii. Abusuafo enye basic schools aduane nko a na ye ka ho asɛm awie yi. Ene senior high school nso so enuane ho ya akɔ atwe sɛ nko ye de a na ya akɔ because according to food suppliers wo mo kyerɛ sɛ buffer stock for the womoka enti enkosi se buffer stock ebetua womoka no nya de a won be supply nuane bia na ye hwese nke ne buffer stock bedi nkomo ye bo womopona wo manfi yen enti ye bekwa amaso na ye ne food suppliers association ta ekuo no womo ekasa mafo opanyino ne kasa de emma womo eye yewura akwaku amedome wono ene kasa ma association no na yene no etime edi enkomo kakra na yahwe ba bia susuan ede bode ho no ebefa isa medome
ordinary people
asam na yakese ma Jerry check wo lines no efa emami ebio abusiafo need 100.9 no waso egu awuti me 90 ena yebo enkomo ha no my Ghana nti ena yedi sa enkomo yi messages kakra ba Ben Sam no say as for the feeding fee it should be increased to 5 cedis pa Nema boy ye den na nekua mo aboaten Ablekuma Central and no say good afternoon BMZ1 the NDC should continue to tackle themselves and laugh. NPP is winning the Asin North seat back. Sharif Al Islam no say catering services should start 5 cities. Okay. No so at and no. And I say at least it should start from 3 cities and in a year's time goes to 5 cities. That is Ben Sam or no na drinchra or they abandon. Almost 1 city 20 pesos when no benya no craft no better so tax. It and also and on Amisco Spelele and Sawam and was say happy birthday in common and Akwame or Pascu on Sawam. May God bless you. Okay, yo, and yeah, Nana Kwame or Pascu, happy birthday, Enko Enfa Emma. Emmanuel photo and video. No, say good afternoon, Mambia. Please tell the desperate former president and his NDC party that they should explain to we Ghanaians the reason why they signed the dubious contracts like take or pay. Please let him tell Ghanaians if Ghana is his private business, will he sign such a contract to himself and his family to pay without using it? If not, what is his motive of coming back to power to do what? If not greedy and propaganda? Okay, and also so and on Napoku Francis and no say KE and Amidifre Atabazi districts and also this country Ghana. So our elders can't they help us? No wonder. Aye. And I don't think the 1 city 20 can feed a day-old baby. The minister should get serious. There is no money. That is what the government can afford. It is yensa ebetimi aka Mr. Kweku Amedome. Ono na yes spokesperson. Onfa. Oh, Mr. Kweku Amedome. Ono na yes spokesperson for caterers, Food Suppliers Association of Ghana. Na nke hwese ne bedi nkomo because ye nya ne nte yese wo mo so mo betie twa brankampa atinte so kokwa to form de akira ban because ne yekoso no enye papa wo mo ene aban ahia ama wo mo kire se finance ministry do to do na me pese nka me tefri ono ankasa num na oka ne pen ema yen egusu apusu ahoma no yensa ntumi enka no yensa eka no a yene no ebebo enkomo na yenhwe ye beto ama etiefo nso so na mo nso so mabam na ya hwe yen school feeding no yentwam anase ye ya yentene ehunye ne yie sika dodo sen na wogidi se awasa aban timi tua edema caterers no matimi ya aduane ne yie ama nkoda na nya nuane pa edi 0302243540 0302243540 obetimi afre na ode wadwenkyere aba. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Nyame adom odi ni baabi afrefi.
Dr. Newman.
Meet you.
Mame. When you say, one why, and our body why, so busy, my message, bonnet. But I do not go to me. Money has to me. Yeah, so, it's not here, I can't always feel me feel pill. I'm quite not so bad to talk. No, but I don't know, you know. Yes, sir, and I said, yeah, if you say we are not about that, why so I be for school uniform now for them. Yeah, I can't end them. Come, think you say, feeding. I hope for me. And that's what we are saying. I know, can you can have because no, somebody here, the play. About a small minor. If you say, I don't want to see. I don't know if you know what. What's my goddamn? I don't know. You know what?
Let us say. Hello, good afternoon.
BIAMAH.
Papa, mbacho odi ni baabi afrefi.
Me see this year them master trailer.
Yo, it's you.
Yo, we na mun kaila ni. BIAMAH. Yeah, sure says sometimes, you know, this is my party. I love the party so much. But let me say, sometimes after two for no money man pay you for no mono. I'm man a future was so the mano. Mama. At the time, also teachers training and then the allowance will tremble. I don't think the reasons are any in our soprano. I don't want you to. When they are me, about peace sucks. BIAMAH, we share a piano player. The quality is questionable. The quality level is questionable. And sometimes the quantity I demand Kolano Krano, over a school man feeding fear, or over to crash show. It's a stream and penny say, we've come of age, on trim, Asa, on trim, would there come your vessel, or top badness who could be out there here. Once the 20%. The government is training sika, but this same I won't funny Ghana for say abiding yes. To me, you know, on them outright. Let's find reasons and tell Ghanaians so that if you cannot hear them call that out, you have to hear it. Papa. You want to live in a Soviet catches as well for strike as MPP. Meanwhile, a year to my young person. And don't trim that you say. That's my word. On trim, there's no need to say, oh, my 5 city cry. Ghanaians will still complain. And
Medasipi. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, BIAMAH.
Me pacho di ni baabi afrefi uncle ato.
Uncle ato ba ni mi.
Yanko.
Yo, me do asibe na honorable kan Japan. Me get there. Nigga asu there or there as a businessman.
Uncle ato, go ahead with your submission. When your time e de chia, medical kasasi mo ya chrope.
Me do asibe. Ya mi so. Me the master there aban say oya ho bibi no be here. Once 20% on to kakra of ma. Na ba mi abia, my BIAMAH. Imra amembo ya de pawo. Amembo aya de papa. That feeding school feeding here, can from the primary school now, you know, all the most secondary school. If we am crossing now, you can't crossing. But can't cross it. I shall here all your progress in book. Or you want about our school there. As it beyond other man where you will fail and upon a poor, not that for school, poor, on your man back, no, I catch and go to school, I beg. Ma ending the fool, I upon on a park, I do what I can. Point is a young woman, on a man, Krasuna. You would say, yes, what they're buying at the bank, or do a home, Nala. We are waiting for when you be Kakaway do. I was school now, Uncle, so come here. At the building is not important. Sabi. You would have about so here's the beyond you will say. As far as that, you fill out banner. Oh, one mamma for 1 year about 1 year about what you my politics on the machine. Why, yeah. It is our buying. Okay, not to the is not here. All I hear. And that's this crap.
Medasipi. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mari BIAMAH.
If I told you, baby, I'm free.
But I phone and Cassan.
If we uncle.
Mari BIAMAH, where the mystery pa. It's not a credit in any fraud team. And there might be a telephone yen. Mami BIAMAH, could you believe say no power way? It talk credit. Chico, Mami tennis specifically. Chico, 10 is me and son, I'm this kind of telephone. Me use you who be a lie where I may be fly. 3 lines ring I think me credit to. Miss me more busy, maybe starting to point about busy, I mean, we yo. And here that's a telco, so they were almost see and put the yes to policy. Mammy, I may a capa, you do calling one. Minuka say, wake out and then you cast out the best so. And you know, the best telco, so they were more boy a crown, who should I know we. Mammy, come myself. Hey! After I never come myself,
yeah, then tell me.
When do they, now I'm
one come a cattle into the
atmosphere. Can you say? Best rabbi say school for money, man. But also, I name my manager, my young Bissau. Tabano school, I tell you, you are only nothing wrong. The school for no much school, and what any and which can on Muchana, because any puppet scan on which you own. If you are quality at 300, no much of my buying says 600, much of my buying says 700. No more buying the car. Because and this is for which she won't pay some Quabanania and Jabani money near Sindao. 90 is for your mamma dear. Over your market say, your money corner, or won't pay on the core mine are buying near.
Hello, good afternoon. The course no best one on once and after Makoya interview back home, me bapen my bet was so. In Pajama, friend, holding on. Why? Hello, good afternoon.
Yana, what's up, my?
Okay, we didn't be afraid.
But I'm going to have a
Yanko.
But that's it. Mommy, Ubeka said, what do you miss? Talk if you want them. Obekaya.
Mekai.
So, never to see your mammy who me. To a hook at the talk in you. Talk in you one of my money canoe. She never to put your mammy who me. Everything put you young. I took a Bogana, what Bogana is a which I think by your door. But we never have them. No, for the item you. Some Kulaya want to feel it. To just small, or just more greater here. Mamma cut with it. Or no bad, tell no baby who or baby who can tell your mamma will come here. So how will you believe it? I will be it. Now, what do we want to tell you or some other thing for here? Now, what you do with my apply, you never you say a lot, you say a cat and point, you say I don't find you won't bound. And no matter down, you making it back who will take the everyone for just a minute. Necessity what Daniel is getting what is to my game.
Medasipi, Ahani, and Cosney Bessie. Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Medome.
Good afternoon.
If I jump to say,
I shall boko.
Yeah, the Radia say Food Suppliers Association. They say later development a free a car, much as buffer stock for a demono. Aquacos is saying.
Yo, Meda, Peace FM, say, Nameda, what's here for you now? So I said, my BIAMAH, good evening. My patrol, dear Command, say, you press statements, no. Minister of Education, that was after my good share down on your office. Now, on my I said there. as at the time, na Minister of Finance anyhow. Nti watch all like opportunity also. Nti oba on my share kwan on my faso ade esika my.
Eno edi be say ni.
Me pacho I can call 2 weeks because yeah call na call the first statement on Wednesday. Nti no Friday no and a minister ni exercise. But the woman said Tanyo no ya tie minister ba train kakra ya share to kwam so ya bema musika uma emresa ya tia fimienu ni yenim says aboshe na o share on the 6 no anya dia o de be ejuma enti ya train asaka you days bina 14 days na de ma by na so na I agree to say the press conference no say you be akopekete our buffer stock premises for after the expiration of the 14 days na ya ma by on face kamai na menu I asofem kakra the ama time amwa na ajejuma ya omoye omobua aban free SHS na akoba de say over 2 years ni na yama aban supply as at the time na ya supply no na a bag of maize near ton 160 cedis and a bag of maize broke 600 cedis at the time na a bag of beans near 500 cedis and now me no kasai na and a 1,200 a carton of milk at the time there 72 cedis and then me no kasai it's over 192 Ghana cedis internet I'm buying the Sikamaya, a bad thing at 21 or so. Now, I'm buying Akibisika for 2 years in Isusu. With here, I had the interest better so. Inti, the Bisana say, the Jumana, I'm buying Guna, and I say, Yabakoso, I support it, I buy the policy of free suggestion. And then I buy the Juana.
Yes, National Food Suppliers Association, Mona. Okoto nnuane ni free AKWAFO direct e de bre buffer stock anasa sign
me pacho ai yem binemo enye bito e we AKWAFO no ho e wo Ghana ye binemo susu outsource outside the country be imported from Burkina every few Ouagadougou ne dia ke kan ho le be so agi bank loan and the yes eduma nyina it's 2 years na abanye ntu e ka wa hwe interest at the bank worker.
It's a massive. It's a young share, say, 2 years in here. I buy entry. I can see can do send involved. How much? Quantum?
I buy you can almost about 200 and almost 200 million Ghana. Over 195 million, little over 190 million.
Okay. And as I say, my next line of action, day.
The next line of action, they say more your press statement and they say you person pick it. The person society and tuma your empire. You kukune kakane koda buffer stock. Na because yanka say dem na because a company the danka creditors page if you phone be brave if grad and but that members need be fee. You know, I say your members, you know, ye kwakusi your husband and a wife, and now at here creditors at the day account. Be brave 90 minutes and be brave on your stroke. Yeah, I just say, yeah, train and promises of how our money is being paid or is going to be paid. We need our money. Yeah, I didn't say about what about fast stop. You know, me, Muponja, I have a film. When the mosquito nets, mosquito coil, but yɛbɛda hɔ
For how long?
yɛbɛda hɔ kɔpem tam a yɛn nsa bɛka yɛn sika
Wow.
because baabi adu no yɛntumi nda yɛfi ankasa yɛntu yɛn nti ɛhɔ na yɛbɛtumi ada at least police for bɛba yɛn ho ban police for amansa nyinaa bɛhu ɛna yɛ creditors so bɛhu sɛ aban ɛna amfa yɛ sika ama yɛ ɛno nti na yɛntumi ntu yɛn mo ka no yɛda hɔ
Iti picketing no da bɛn na mo hyɛ ase.
next week yɛbɛsa ase
Oh, okay.
nti this week yɛbɛtwerɛ letter ma police na next week yɛakɔkɔda hɔ
Sama do me area yebedo ase.
meda ase peace from
Ebusiafo Eyrakweku Amedome ono na spokesperson Emma National Food Suppliers Association and what is here ne kasa no say the picketing no eno ane brofo abanti e die ne say the pensioner bond holders one more echo pickete ya omugu so pickete no aha wenum so say omo so ko pickete bafa stock for omo office so omo eponja omo hokwa omo de omo beda ho atwen omo ama the next day omo aba beto omo ewo ho di omo sese omo mosquito net omo blanket ene omo mattresses nyina akwakogu bafa stock ho omo kotena ho akosi se ebeka se monye musika ndie monye aban ho hyehye na de moyi nti monye musika na aban ho nto no se wa ma anya ne sa omo betena ho a ene ebosome nwotwe omo betena ho akuya Ghana edi ebe yie ni ameti ase Neat 100.9 ena waso egwa utie memanti ena yede esomo ehwe Estates and or say, good afternoon, MAAME BIAMAH. Please, it is time the government review the school feeding program so that things will go well with this noble idea. The government should stop the schools feeding program in the urban areas and rather concentrate in the rural areas, because even children in urban areas who are staying in kiosks and staying with their parents attend private schools and are fed well every day. So the government should have a second look at this and help those who need the school feeding program. Mr. Tai, Gulf Estate, no. Good afternoon, MAAME. In fact, Ghana needs someone to stop BIAMAH from lying to Ghana Education Service and teach. BIAMAH promised giving laptops to teachers, as of today, most teachers have not received their laptops. Same BIAMAH promised giving senior high school student tablet, and no student has received the tablet. This same BIAMAH has promised giving senior high school teachers laptops that will contain all teaching syllabus and textbooks. Meanwhile, ordinary textbooks for JHS and SHS, as of today, government has not been able to provide them. BIAMAH should give us a break. MAAME, please call me and let me expose coward teachers to you and the nation, because teachers are cowards too much. Na nothing but the way Africa saw and or there are bad. Comments Pilatuno say, attend not by elections and NPP Afada Dada. Anyways, greetings to Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, our next president of the Republic of Way every Lampre King Rashid or AK Tema BMW. No, say good afternoon, MAAME BIAMAH. Please. The right person who can canvass for more votes for NPP is no person like Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. You don't need a soothsayer to tell you this. Munkaila Jonas inside Ikari, and also please, I have a question for John Mahama. He said it openly in 2012 that no government can use just 4 years to do anything better for his people. So ask him to explain to Ghanaians for coming back to seek for the same 4 years he spoke against. Let's retire this man before he comes to tell us stories for his failure in case he wins the 2024 election. Also regards to Honorable Ophelia Mensah Hayford, MP for Infanteman. I am Kwabna Freedom Billy Hu from Anyako. Good afternoon, my sister. Some of the NDC supporters are saying the feeding fee should be increased to 4 cedis each student. They know when they come to power 2024, they cannot pay that money, but putting pressure on NPP. Fire bend them all. Afe Nana Ekriamwa Boateng, I think I've read that one. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is the best choice for Ghana now. We know Abele Edifrinungwa Enode Abba. Or say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is the best choice for Ghana now. DMB near victory near greetings to engineer Odai Lai, Clifford Mate Kole, and Honorable Carlos Ahenkra.
Are in these terrorist groups and not, for example, the Republic of Ghana. And so they will criticize how our democracy does not work and it does not deliver. They will criticize how they are waiting for jobs, but those jobs will never come because the government will never be able to deliver. They will criticize how they can take certain things happening in society and use them as examples to radicalize. All these become the techniques of radicalization. They become the techniques of, if you call it, undermining what we are, what progress we have made, and what we have achieved. People should not assume that there is no jealousy, that in the Fourth Republic, we have maintained and sustained political stability. We are not like other places where people are arrested and locked up. People don't want to see a country, and when I say people here, I'm referring to these terrorist groups. They are envious that when there is an environment in which every country is suffering under the weight of terrorism, Ghana continues to stand stable. It's not to create the mistake of allowing people to fall into the hands of terrorists, but that every day we work together to overcome those challenges, right from local government level to national level, to prevent that radicalization, which then makes people to fall into the hands of these groups when the possibility of recruitment arises. Let us continue with the effort of delivering good governance. Military or security is one, but it is more about the delivery of good governance. Let in every village and in every community, even when we have challenges, let us continue to engage one another in which people know that there is a collective effort, both formal and informal. Continue to allow you in the media to have the space. Even when you criticize, it should not be interpreted as negative. It should be interpreted as constructive to help the accountability process. Let's continue to deepen democracy.
Utie oha echi ponkno. Needs FM.
Hey. July 2023. Despite media was so home to Medino, a samba film, or Nipapia, a brilliant brano, I was so tricked to Wabum.
And noting that despite media, I had to say, Yamamo, Nama Pum, Abramo sign Achimun.
So 2023, and Nika Samkwe woman said, who favorite TV and radio presenters are, and what despite media, when you know a baby, and this celebrities are Udwa, Wawam, when you know a bar.
Now, so what you might be a best here, I will mensa. Every walk of Piemu, I will pay the Presby Park, 1st July 2023. And yet, damn minute,
no, 5 a.m. sharp, not exercise, no Ashasi. Never take to up, that's all chewing. Despite media was over 2023.
Utie oha echi ponkno. Needs FM. Needs FM Neo
'Cause
Sabre yembre no no me no abapa sima aduono 800.9 FM 90 ena wason egua otie no ensem bebre na enegu apono so Ghana de bia enya asem ayebeka eho asem wate ase enya so so ayeba besi ne koso ewa hase wani to ya ase north by election ene eho ensem say Supreme Court one more at the judgment no abba school feeding gateways one chere say 1 city 20 pesos no one nye da now 1 city 20 pesos here dey kwanu aduane makoda ba ko bia what are you talking about one minister kokohia and so anko ziaga minister say ne omo wa no sika bi eni ho a won betimi ede aka ho Supreme Court so abane anase abra na nanom ahemfo ese womo hwe na womo afom ho anwura amanyosem se ne Ghana mamra eka no Supreme Court asi sudua bio aka se wo yo he a di wo he fenchem enkogina NDC nkogina MPP nkogina ye fense womo ekokontekro enko endorse obi enfa stamp nkosi obi so se me manfo asumasi obentinie monto ema no me manfo ye asumasi obentinie amayokonie monto enfa man ose eni ho kwan se na nanom ahemfo womo eyesa ebusuafo we ni nsanka ya hodo na wie ye ba bebobo ho na mebusuafo a awie wo abeka me ho ewa hasei Godwin Mahama of the NDC and Sylvester Sapon Soprano Director of Communications of the CPP. Womo mi no na ababeka me ho hasei a eno omo ehye enkomo no ase Soprano ene Godwin me mamo akwaba.
Yeah,
Godwin dear ase me hu na ha chepa about 2500 years ago.
Oh, endu sa na yankasa emfi ahe na edu. Me fi yesen.
Me medi 2000 years.
Me ndu here. Me 40 years gra me ndu here.
Some mo party na mo medi be 2000.
Oh no, only say me ntwa mo boy. Etiefo ni me nuaba. Adwuma ne doso. Na normally no was steady amiri bia me approach me exam period bia no na say me jam kakra.
Exam they say that ben abetwere wi.
Me wie me program the next year. But I'm on vacation now for a semester break.
Oh, okay.
That's good. Na mo frame me na minti me man. Deliberately the minti me njam. Na djuma we dey aja boyembo. Ghana who don't na party who don't no. We have no option.
What can I tell? Soprano. Any mam to say. Na tia na asa utika mu na bag so ne ma so.
Oh, there be a penny.
Boy.
Me
na maninye.
Where hu ni ye?
Kafra. Na no ye den.
A holster bag.
Can you friend? Ha chem na omo muti no munnim holster bag.
So ka mu he Facebook. A holster bag na akwa it says obi hia me ayi aposifo ne asojafo hia me omo hwe me tu ansa na o ma relax. I said you tu hia ma motu mu no. But a bag keke.
Na one fast anko yeah you sa na anya.
Oh, there be say a bag. It me goose.
Me
pen ene me gam ne ade me goose. Me goose shishim. Nti I say holster bag na o hwe sini a ana aposifo no. Omo hwe coat na I say shemu no. It's convenient. Not just say you don't have to carry.
That's soprano. It still comes back to bag.
That's my point.
Get around yourself.
Okase so. Enu just say obu be, enu just say siuti so.
Oh, na se man ka say esimi.
No, okase.
I said you would come.
Na me so me ma. Na just all project say me goose no. I will be anko say me bisi ho no. I
say bia yes, back say the bomb chi no.
Now be na. Now ka say no bia. No na me pa kire no say. Ayi cheap na ye chire musa no nya agro oba nso so anu ate say adwuma yi so ho na ho te say
adum
nya agro you are looking so beautiful, man.
Thank you adum keke anu na kita and I see my guapron so I say north by election I think say no na ink be komu pa ye be say brepi wo ho ye free one ma ya ba. There's, I think, issues in very important issues because banning of traditional rulers from endorsing political parties and candidates and know your issue. But I don't think that we'll spend so much time on that. And school feeding caterers so once the 20 pesos increment just say na say near boy yet papa and more cap back. Hey, there be 80 minutes. I seen not by elections and the matters are rising on it. Now a binomoka special opposition NDC. As a one person who near judges need Gina supporting ya. Omudi bua asemno. Na sa same way and ne Adamusa candidate a different cry. It one person who nyame adom. Judges no so ede fence one more judgment no one more edi aba. I hope sir obi anya bia wakenka me ho say fence Godwin enia brepa ya just wo judgment o better ha say wa tra eti ene ahabe se engege no nyame adom Ernest Adade ono so aba beka me ho ha say Ernest akwaba bia boko de
maame me ba na me tiu na said you na Godwin aye wild
na wutie me no aye wild ya say me bre
minim say oba
We're staging in mind that we're staging in mind that you see this is the true reflection of our MPP candidate.
My womb. How could I will be beside the other?
So before be review, you can't trouble if you and beware of dogs. You already aware.
Could I will be beside the media, but I'm not going with you. Oh, no, Yamia, Betty.
Yeah, I was young for as you see, me set and so I be and as Kwame Adadewaha. Godwin Mahama is present and Sylvester Sapon Soprano and also so present. Now, yeah, maybe see a shot see free Asin North by elections and then the offense honorable question, yeah, Supreme Court or SCMP Panidin, every parliament and Mukrat Emuni BBM. History be a crime, Madam Yanko refers say, Nanum who be now or a member of parliament, they be see that your trust adianum, Empepenina, and Felfrim, Nania. Supreme Court ejina so ebu asase metumi a wo mu gina so ante ma omo e direct parliament say wo mo pepa ni din every parliament enkrata mo no wo mo edisa judgment no aba abonten na because say those who were calling for the judgment any honkro ne ban every especially the opposition no measure say every Godwin so they say judgment na ba are you now satisfied? Yes.
Also. Mini aberema ba ko Amasama my friend George Asare. The Amasama still NDC yenye constituency.
Oh, okay.
So ejina say nakopon ya adoma time bia region
baby kwan.
We contest as constituency youth.
Oh, okay.
Amasama na wutie me a. He's a fine gentleman. I mean him very well. And then I do my chair. My name is Sue and any buying. No matter about the second one, when him say, can say after a year parliamentary and presidential election. I mean, I don't make constituency, don't me a bro boom constituency.
Okay.
Got to something about ye a brand here. Fine, very fine gentleman.
Okay.
Hard working, neat, by all standard. Open ya adum na 7 December. People of Domiabra Obon constituency to Abamana. The previous MPs they would double it. Now Domiabra Obom Enyan in Tamapa Ifra is in the person of Honorable Isaac Awuku Yibo. Formerly not on another chairman and the other parliamentary candidate. With them friend MP Dada, but with himself Obedi. Anyway, on this ruling on Asin North, NDC we are still not happy because the king kind the ruling nearby, I think, and Dran. There is still a lot of question. Yegusu ebisa yehu. Man, the issues no mess us over my sometime now your team are going into details. One, I hear a lot of people who claim say honorable question case no any Abu Sakandi 2011 case no the same. In law will say they are on all fall with each other.
But in this case, my mama, omunye the same. When in history, you better ye history na me know we were following the political activities in Ghana a see ye. Abu Sakandi, ye tone swaba ewie ya ye sweni in. Nastulo gutsukita British nationality passport. Na otu kwine as member of parliament. Do I know Oyusu British passport? And I'm a boy. Into Anunu, when taking any step to renounce his citizenship. You get me? When two and among be a trese or per se or renouncing the citizenship. Now I pay only allegiance to Ghana. Until you turn the swab by Yampon. Now Ogusu pay allegiance to Ghana and Britain. I also that of Dachu question. Dachi question. As at November 2019. Now we're taking the step at wrong Kratabia as an individual. Who per se ujai or citizenship per Canadian laws are now I on his part. He had done it.
As at
2019 November. Now I throw all the necessary documentation and the amount. Yana can say Canada state issue certificate of renunciation and the amount. I know on his part, no, I had the obey. But due to COVID and some unforeseen circumstances, which
and only reason I was signing, and only reason Canadian one no more signing, and I'm one not pay reason to back it.
In law, we have what we call force majeure, unforeseen circumstances. Inti ema renunciation no e delay ye. Put you e mani delay ye.
Meba. Try me bacho. Adade please.
Don't worry.
Right now, the person me who say, Emrane can say in the process of doing the renunciation, no betimi akọ pick forms to fill say be a person a jina for a member of parliament position or whatever. And now say you do that, you renounce be a and sana what take that step to for that MPship or whatever position that you want. Is that what it is?
Don't worry, me baho.
And now say in the process, you can go and pick your forms and start doing it.
Me baho.
Because a different thing.
Don't worry, me baho. Don't worry, me baho. And take this question into account. I will answer you.
Okay.
Into those unforeseen circumstances, they delay the process.
Okay.
But them fair numpo enye asem. You get me? Young person me establishing say he took the mindset say or renouncing the Canadian citizenship. But he doesn't have the powers or no need to mean to be determine that certificate in the day. Ebeba. You get me? And you did 2020 mu. And you were 2020 mu. And I am going to say obe contested for an election. And a letter commission open for nomination. And or picking forms. Yeah. Supreme Court Ejina Swa. Omodi give it out that ruling. Say at the time of nomination, no, not the certificate in your day. MI. Put you. Not the certificate, no, MI. And let's take these two cases. One, Ubakaya, proud to I think 2016 election. Honorable Pakwesi Indum, they disqualified as presidential candidate for some reasons. Emma de assembly echo court. And Honorable Indum, a unique case on the basis say that your mama Konya say file your nomination. Nomination ain't yet just a day. The nomination should be extended to a mere electoral commission. Then Mawa Kwenyama will do forms aba. Electoral commission will scrutinize it and allow you for any ratification if there is the need for any ratification. That is a non Supreme Court Gina so Emma Pakwesi Indum Ediwini that case. In two files we are. Electoral commission will go through the document. The mistakes be one. And so Mawa Kwenya now ratify. And no SCA before nomination ends. The nomination is not just a day. I know you're one. Two, Mandema. Emra Honorable Jachu Kwesin. A file here. We had people from Asinofa. No more MPP for, but they were in the name of concerned citizens of Asinof. Etron Krata my electoral commission on this same issue. On the 27th of November, and electoral commission here na adwene say obetena sa asem no so. Na nipa na otena asem no so. Honorable Srebo or your deputy director of electoral commission. Remember, tell me very well. Before 27th of November, na electoral commission betena sa asem no so petition na efi concerned citizens of Asinof Sono. A day before, na 26th of November 2020, no, now Honorable Jachu Kwesin's certificate from the government of Canada. Now are you ready? Inti mra of court na electoral commission panel nenim on the 27th, no, na okura ne certificate of renunciation now it has been issued to him by the Canadian government. Inti enu an electoral commission ya share with eniema baaku mienu and they approve you say obetimi ayeden akọ contested or you qualified. What did I make an say? By electoral commission Supreme Court in near catch and say it was supposed to start from the day of filing in nomination. But I know say Ghana Yembrano will live with what we call precedence. Because you hear the different case law. They will take precedence from Pakwesi Indum case. As Supreme Court and Kasaka say, nomination ain't yet just a day. And your process I shall see fit da. Who file ye? Go see Mran easy best scrutinize or document. Now if there is a need for any changes, be I can't just say call ye woman. I did see honour. And only ever cast a nomination I end it. You get me? Into nomination and the Mra electoral commission etna Honorable Jachu Kwesin Assembly Swa, which was 27th November 2020. Occur ye na a day before ye 26th no. Na the certificate I ready no. Or the contrary and non electoral commission as an independent constitutionally created body. A share ye and the approval say or you qualified to go and contest. Benjamin, let's go into some statutes of this country. The people, representative of the People's Act, PNDC Law 284, a triangle qualification of a candidate, Section 20D. And maybe one person make kinda uni your TF in 8 what the PNDC Law 284 account about qualification of a candidate. Contrary to the Supreme Court actually and say, as I said, the panel a year through the vetting time. Oh, where is this thing? 20. Okay, 20D. Madam, I'll say the election of a candidate shall be declared void or an election petition if the High Court is satisfied. A. We can D, you know, that the candidate was at the time of his election. Remember, emphasis on at the time of his election. And yet at the time of nomination. I just what I'm gonna say. They say at the time of election. Yet at the time of nomination. Because the framers of the Constitution, one person more issues of nomination, they would have made it explicit. Black and white. Was it the time of election?
And you think that the Supreme Court didn't know this?
You see, the Supreme Court sometimes also can err. They are human beings. Sometimes they can err. Until they have opportunity for appeal and reviews. And there were instances that Supreme Court at the party from previous ruling. You get me? Until and you're unique. Say, I will sit and say, Emrani you say, and they have not gone accordingly. You see, in this modern day of law, we have what we call MOPA. Modern purposive approach of interpretation. You see, Yambisa Yehu say, the framers of the Constitution, what then or person or cure, on person what mischief do they want to cure? Into your muka say, before I obey public officer, and what's a holding allegiance to two different countries. I contested regional regional secretary in Greater Accra. The time I'm a far form, so can I call myself a deputy regional secretary? Time I'm a fairly, can I call myself so? Even Poya 2 swap barrier, they classify as elect until you are sworn in. Until you 2 swap bampo after 7 December, the fraud elect, MP elect. We classify you as a public officer just after swearing in. Anameboa. The president imponu, who is the president from on the 7th December, and 7th January. So Yahweh. Unless midnight of 7th January, the swear we in and obey the president of the Republic of Ghana.
What were you expecting about? What were you expecting should be the ample time for a Ejachi to renounce his citizenship with Canada and son or befile and as in the process no drew on anka on yeah and can also it me disqualified.
Yeah, me can say me kind PNDC law 284 children. You see at the time of election. Ghana you to about time be.
As a process in our elections no.
And I'm
from picking for your nomination forms up to when you be elected. Nina your process.
And I'm mau me ba. And I'm no, it's a Supreme Court. The American Affairs statute. PNDC law 284. And I made reference to the Supreme Court case on Pakwesi Indum.
Apart from Pakwesi Indum, when you look at the judgment from the Supreme Court, they've also quoted other cases to back what they did. Because I will say a case law, right?
Yeah, sure.
And to almost so end Kasebia, they have all the wisdom and everything.
Sure.
They also depended on some of the cases that have been heard in similar situations. J.H. Mensah versus Attorney General, 1996, 1997. Republic versus High Court, Fast Track Division.
Sure.
Experts charge and an interest party. And also, and then what you are saying, the Musa candidate's own, they quoted it.
Rollins, I have heard the full case. You see, that person will dwell entirely on the content. Definitely, I'm going to make you reference to cases.
Yeah.
There are instances where there is no ruling from any court. One making reference to statute, constitution, or case law.
Before passing judgment.
Okay. At the same time, so you want the same judgment about and go on an appeal. Court assess the position. So the mere fact say we black and white, so we quote a lot of cases, a quote statute, a quote constitution. Does not mean say when you go for a review or appeal on it, they may not change their position. Sure. So
no,
you see what I'm saying? That is why the court, say, you can criticize their judgment. It is allowed. And a true criticization of their ruling, and yes, criticisms, and they build it on our laws.
It's when you look at the Constitution, does the Constitution explicitly say from this period up to this period, say only renounce you can't file for whatever position that you want.
Law,
because maybe the Constitution can say, want to me hold it to a dual citizenship. Now me pre position.
No,
a public
when
office.
When you are a public officer, you can hold
an allegiance to a different country.
When you are a public officer, you know more example say. When do we say or be a public officer? The mere fact that they even let me use the Chief Justice. Chief Justice Tokunu yet to be. They are nominating what is so called
appointment
committee. He was called a Chief Justice.
No,
I am nominee. You get me? Obey Chief Justice after approval and was swear the oath.
Okay.
No, obey public officer. So this I'm just trying to for us to add common sense.
Sure,
analysis.
I'm following you.
And 1 year from the public officer. My example said Me far from semi contested NDC Deputy Regional Secretary. I was not the officer. On the day of election, I was not the officer. Even your two so bampo ria. That's a 7-7 period. We can't say the NDC Deputy Regional Secretary has died. Because until they swear you in, you are not what so it's still the substantive. So I'm not a public officer. In the case of be a public officer, in the nama on Abu Sakan DNA different.
Okay.
Because Abu Sakan DNA, you to no swaba wie. You get me? Soprano. You to no swaba wie. As when in, and he was still holding the citizenship of Britain, even using omo passport, which the prosecutor proved that presented in evidence. They are not the British passport. So at the time, no, you're public officer, no, not on renounce here, but in the case of that you question, the American said on the 27th, now electoral commission, that's not the petition by the citizens of concerned citizens of Asenof, no, not 26th, no. Now when you're in the reason, the renunciation certificate from Canada into your core panel, he presented all those documents. I don't think the man electoral commission, a man approval that he can go and contest. Already, material said in Indum's case, the Supreme Court made us to understand. Say, because a nomination, and not the mere fact say, my fellow forms never presented ends nomination because there can be some mistakes at the time you were filling the forms. In the electoral commission, Timmy Mawa Kwenya. Now, if there's a need for some corrections, why corrections? No? It is when all those things and ratification ends, and the because nomination has ended. You get me? At the time when your friend was easy, now yet now it is part of the nomination process by the reasoning from the Indum's case. In the next one, we go into the criminal aspect of it. He can be jailed using the same secondis issue.
Okay.
But the two cases are the same because current one here, civil. Criminal case, you prove beyond all reasonable doubt.
Sure.
Civil, you prove on ponderance of probability, which is just small. So you can easily do that.
Thank you very much. And then I would say Godwin Mahama of the NDC. Adade. And I'm going soprano.
Problem. Muhammad NDC sunya. NDC NDC especially Ubo election. Because Muhammad and Penny Dimu and free parliament. Anka media and some maybe. Oh, tonight. I say, oh, yeah, to a ban. Not in some nashas. Not high court. I want to. But you be move man to ya. You need the free. Ura bagbing. O can't hold you to ya work bagbing. Young and some free man. And I is free. Say high court and say young treat say via.
It does not even
say Supreme Court to say young Kelly Dimu Kuraiva ya penny dear Frigana woman. But no, yes, swear will be in. Meboa. Swearing in none to say ya abattoir, ya to a bat. Now, would you say swearing in the Oberton movie now? I can, yeah, now one can cry.
It doesn't add or surprise.
Oh, in the year and then Ruby. But Yamana car loan, never money, Yamana car loan. Or mood and cracker.
It is a car loan, Yabende.
Yaben, Mammy, I mean, coming baby son, I was what to our money means. And some pea, Nancy way no me be some way in a yen idea. And this I tell you all that yen I am fancy ideas. And pre peace will be too. Stop. and at least watch before you step. Papa you free ashasi o. Papa you cry there metiti na chire ni say or try party foforo. And omo ka jan say masa we ni ye de kwa enye yi. Ena ye na mua na ndisi for boji ni so ye be kwa akoto aba no. Ansa na obe standing no. Womwa raise issue we say papa no oye or dual citizen na copy yi no. And this is for see chobo hey yam pni obe koye mana ko no an okro. Omo decide piapia papa eti kosa media me bompaye say nkoba ne sa. But a criminal proceedings koso. Na nyame mfa nchayen. Na ye woni ti ko no ko nsanwa mu a. Owura se dun ketia na na odi wenu mu. Obekwa akogya na ehwe. Nti ye nyina ye mfa nsu ade me say asem we ma kan several times. Wo pese wo di djuma bi, wo pese wo be ye MP. No kura da o man yi mu unim. Sa unim you don't even qualify to come and say you want to live here. Sa unim say me wo dual citizenship a ni kwan say me to me ogina. Unim say next year and next 4 years a year be koi NDC be kwa me kwa kogina. Wo ye niama wo mpeso aso ho wo boa. Wo pese wo di won sa mienu didi. We no eye krono na papa na boyen. Unim die ntra. Time a yesi oninamu a oye ya simple tunjuma no ye mfie before ye be kwa abato no. So nim say ni dual citizen. Onim pa. Onim nso say on to me nye.
No.
Na mami
meba and the mintwa wano. Ade no. Who renounce so ewie ansa no take his step no to come and do it. And now say in the process who renounce no na in the same process na so no who ba be fa
nomination. I mean when him say Canadian government no wo ho kwan say papa no dual citizen betumi aka say ye de konkon ho akwa ye betumi aka bibia fa it is say un renounce ya uni ho kwan say wutu because the Canadian government no and be decide say
or the bema wa na on fa ma
ko ana menko ebia na oye adwuma bi ma ebia na oye spy ma wo mo. For all you may know it can be anything. Enti uni hu kwan nya say wo sorry ye say me nya Canadian citizen biom unya Canadian enya nka wo unya fa through plane na bet na Ghana
Roma just so that to make the conversation. Which citizen?
No, una wo say me nye na so say please so.
Okay.
Me say me nya Ghana ni biom obi anche me. Me and na yeti hai. No china no pa na
my phone na eso no. Check it for me. Put it on silent.
Na me sorry china na me say me nya Ghana ni biom ma me wo bebo me. Oh nana do obetumi abeka bibi a kire me. Asa but ese say me fan krata mu ma ye hu say akwa no o say onye Ghana ni biom. Krata mu. Na papa na de ne te. Inti owura no
to be fa krata say say ban no confirm me ma sam pa dia tum so onye Canada
sorry na me say me nya Ghana ni biom me wo ho kwan nanso gi say ya gitum wo krata mu ansana ma ya jimi atum say efri nne no me nya Ghana ni biom inti me wo ho kwan say me ka say me nya Ghana nanso ya nya ngintum e na Canada ban e wo ho kwan so mo be ka say ye mpene e ma wo
ebia no munya fa so bi firi
ebia na oye adwuma bi ma wo mo. Ijon betimi aka say yema nko ana bia na okura omo information bi omo nim say wo be ye Canada ni nti na ye de sa ye ma ho kwan ma unya sa access no unya free sa Canada ban na ase a wo betumi de sa information na ye de wo pe biara iti omo betumi aka twentwen so ana omo betumi use crosses bebre dia prevent o na wa be ye MP awie no na wo te Ghana parliament no na omo say ye mpene ana say omo twentwen so obeye ne den unye Canada ni biom ansana wa ba bagina e wo Ghana na ono aka asem mi no contradicting ne ho process no is part of the election. It is the election process. It is also election. Prida will cover form. We no owura afere u ka owura afere giant pencil e ba app. Prida will cover form. U be feel ye covet no that process ni nyina ka ho na ka bom na mami Ghana for nte me pesa Ghana for ti bibia se NDC for person mu tu futuro gu ye ni na wura mahama so kan so ba ma dual citizen abeye etumi akọ parliament ananya sa o se obesi samranu mu ama watumi akuta dual citizenship na wakura position ananya sa asa unim said they qualify obi mani ye parliamentarian and one they qualify no Ghana hama mpani on tria tax on yehwe on tria tax ye tria ne ka ni nyina ye ne dia me bia na mese busume emre bia no mra no ye be ma ne ka ye be ma ne we so call pension na ne niama or the call pension no ye ne salary ka obetinam owura mahama ye dia mo fra no ex gratia no ani nyina abo obi America mampani a on tria tax. Can you imagine a time a young fan say Ghana near or Saya America near Baba Mampeni? No, Waji Yan CDs no Ghana hand or there because or ya America need or ya Juma or Ghana how better tax to America. Omumra no. Enti or ya Ghana ni or Saya America ni no Baba Jiwu Kobo no here ni u titi mo room now the tax and ya tax to America. Ayamra bibinti ono akan ye say dwene trimu pobinti ena sa niama we wo mo afremu constitution ni niama no mo hwehwe mu yie ansana ye de ba begu akwan owura mahama kan say obesi osisam wie na say emfa say ono owura mahama na oye American citizen Ghana citizen ena osan yes spy ma America
no cry no he fan na wo be show allegiance to. No, your loyalty, where does your loyalty lie?
Oh yeah, expire Juma no me who said the Messi can the tree.
Obeti no they call
America for
and so tie bi o no dia ba.
Na wo yeah America ni nti you ye obliged and now wo yeah Juma bi ma wo mo. Ono so ye Ghana mampani and now so okuta position or ye defense minister wo Ghana ha. And na make say sometimes ye church nyama yi mu a wo church mu bia na wo Owura mahama ni because we demand peninda the nyama we ni nti ase ewo mu no na meme de nti mra bia ye de agu akoma na ye besisa mu no na ya adwene ho akọ akire kakra na Ghana ni a wo ye parliamentarian wo je yen sika ye tua wo ka ye provide bibia ma wo na se ye frɛ wo omunsu wo sika wo tumi wa hoden na akode bibia wo chen ye. How are you going to handle it when they intermediate mesre pa owura ajechi kwesi or the opportunity go to the Supreme Court for a review ana owo ho kwan owo ho kwan dia tabi o enye binu mahama na ne kon hu ntini nyina be sore obebo defense ewa ha that defense no akwanya no wo onko chire emra yi aye ka ho asemi emu akunini ena omo akasa obi so akwa demu wo ho nti na me ka say wo mo ye no yodium maza ko ubetumi akocho obu ye di wachi ye ta wachi me bom paye say ma boni bi ama ma obi anko pesi ade we wo court na bia na se be pem etie fon fanchem abusu fon fanchem na owura adamusa candidate ni bi na sia eso owura mahama ya otime nchen ene omo pani opemu mahama na anka ene asiedu nkati abedi na chi akọ. That's the point. So mami the make akosia ni say niam ye ka ho asem yi nyina ye niam ahia pa a border on the security of the state. Yemfa sentiments ni propaganda nto nchen na yandwen ye man ne ho kakra wo man na wo mu no me say dwene ho say dakro ena a wo defendi ena a wo ka say wo nwene say o chena bi no bi a o ye dual citizen wa be ye man pen na wa dwene de obetumi aye na ye di gay aba no ya America ni na America for say one pni gay so de besi de be hwe de wo be ye. So think about your country. Let you patriotic kakra. Na yandwene ye man ho kakra. Na Ghana you know Yen nyina eye yendia. Owura mahama mesrew. Eye very painful. Yeah, political. Yen what it takes to campaign ya gro. Especially NDC ni MPP campaign. Eye ni bresem. CPP di ona ma chire sa na abetwa mu no.
CPP for more.
Yeah campaign no. Eye ni bresem. Eye sikasem eye so many things go. It is obi media obi call election. Me ma call election several times. It obi call election na niaman sheda nko yia.
Na mpo wa hwe obi a ono akobọ ne bra. Ahu ne life nyina ho no wakotena e no wabasa ono so beboa nim de kakra wo no wode be support ne man na fe akọwiewie say
mame ono de ne de men kan sa ono ne de ne in particular no. I am pitying him because he went through the election but he chose to do that.
Okay.
Onimu say oba best stand the election
showed.
Onimu say oba best stand the election. But opesa oye amanfo buye sebe atiefo mo mfa ncheme but ya nuanom ne bi nso buye sebe ya jimi unim de nti America sa onim say ti amra ade we oye ye say ye mfa ne say Canada na o free ba no na mra ne say menye sa no koye sanka sabri odem. He knows that nipa wakotena ho ache no omo suban ne omo ne ye no eya na abrofo ne de na affect ne kakra say me ne wo de ye nim say ye Ghana for
e bia no nim so about betumi apave the way through
obedane niama nani amana favor na amana because ye Ghana enu na ye me ya no obu ye say sebe ye de ye ndwene nkwa kire o Ghana for o ja omo e bakra 2 weeks ta na ye kan o
ye be ye hu de da
oye nim difo oye obi a watena amano ne ache enra na me drive me cousin back team traffic light na sia I saw yellow na me tia so kese na we atwam that was me cousin na me say me no call and ye konam na me gina traffic light na ye tia so brake light no tia so na saw we akiri ho no ye twa no mfoni ye duru fie na da ho twan ye 20 pounds me tia so na no kase isi kwa me wesu ya de na me say no say me met ebia wo ma aka na atwam ko ye ka ne say eya na ye ni aya kot ono mu ake no ye hunu say ye man no so ko nanim na ye mfa obuo kakra ma ye nso a kwa me ahe a oni ba bia akọ a ote ne Ghana na nwen say me say be me nwen
adade wrap up mama.
Because he knows the onim papa na wanye no ono na ye bone man me say the onim papa na wanye no ono na ye bone man papa ne nim no kore no onim say a dual citizen cannot be in Ghana was starting renunciation on renouncing ye and na onim nso say the Canadian government has the power the Canadian government has the power to either delay it or even reject it. What the Americans? Into the Aquacosia say, Media, and Yami the move said, Naswayashi. Bessa some brachy and a man as we are. And no dear, once uncle called to her. Don't call defending him. Yamini Mahama Yawahana, a tear for name. But court to no and pursue warm. A judgment in that way, Nimui. On one case, and this is for say, kind or moon kind through. But would the bear propaganda waha and Kosiaga say, the substance of the matter. The substance of the matter is
say soprano bachebre mame
oba we yedamase si podamase omo say omo kodidi a ani etetete ho enfurufuru ana mu atu BIAMAH yedamase yekutem
oda mu na musa
na musa no crime so because I see people still yentimi emfa ye into ye but you go so na daachi no enche yenso so yebetimi eno omo akoni mpu na adade kan sakra no kan asem bi about traffic traffic a wogina ye na nsin mame mfa we ntwam quick one ayi be 2 weeks almost 3 weeks ago na oba na me ko ayi me de aduro ma ne me ma me wakuma nti me di traffic mu na aka 20 minutes ama 7 o'clock about my aeroplane to nipa ne frame say obeko na ayi ekran say me yifa ho so me yifa ho na police for no muti moto so no ombo so me omo gina me na omo say dia say na me say me wo emergency me ma me da ho na aduro na o say okay odem be ko ama me de aduro na ko but we are the Mbeko police station. Nti ampa you know the call airport police station. And when we see me car, edgy keys no, a tour. Agro. That was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And they call court. Which now that came. And I judge sent.
How many months?
Nanke 2 months, but I don't me to fine. Now I could 2 months. And me to fine. In fact, now Sikatuane Emeya Eden Kakra. But I was very proud of the Ghana police. So because
it happened when?
On my refugee day, but it was on a Friday evening.
This year?
Oh, this year, about 2-3 weeks ago.
Wow.
Yeah. Police for now, Motimoto. So now grown no mudi. Yes, Dampare. I'm from. Yes, here from Dampare boys.
Okay.
Okay, be chiremo. And ye. Umu chocolate to crown. Musi wa muchiri. Enti. Oh, there be entesa.
They say they almost integrity no yeah. Juma. We yes a wood to akra besa to waka.
And as a Ghana phone ma. Yeah. There be. Omubo camera so
now we share police for ya share that more quantum of money as bribe or marriage.
Rejected.
And now, and also it existed before now.
Oh,
there were exceptional cases where previous police people are working. You know, be answer now the man or
yeah. What? Yeah. But the main thing is
where exceptions. Yeah, one of us.
But when you're exception, me call court no. I mean, can't say me call court no. Penyin bi no coming home. In fact, ono no yifa ho na me so me yifa ho.
Oni nmienu.
Sa penyin no ne yire eye minister, me mbo minister kro.
Wow.
Enti ne yire no, omo ma ne yire ni sifrika mu. E na omo che penyin ni koye. O kan na mu nsem nyina omo fa uba ma ne ko ofie. Oba court obi tua bi. So, enti I just want to congratulate the police.
Okay,
say omo nko so nyesa. Oba asema eda edwa no. So ho ayi NDC fo no. Minua Mahama. Odan keke. Ohuri si ha no awoso no ahuri asi ha no apete so ati ba de court ne ka no enu an gina ho asem no mo ka no mo se first of all no na issue of interpretation so and this for Africa de mo se Supreme Court no na enye omo na omo jurisdiction and aso omo betimi aka sa asem no so Mr. Kwesi no say petition election petition and a court ni che say there be Supreme Court ni say there be interpretation and enforcement of Article 94(2)(a), so, and not an election petition. And according to Constitution, no, and I say no, interpretation. So, I interpret Constitution, no, a Supreme Court, and omutimi interpreting no more force article. So, I say, it is a ocean one. I forgot say near discuss allegiance. So, say, ebia,
we in allegiance to
allegiance, chimu.
Yeah, we man for frost ni. And now,
so uswai. Oh, and Magana. What do you mean? So I'm on my immune. So, inti, na Supreme Court no party say, allegiance no so, and I say, a person owes allegiance to another country. So your MP now owe allegiance now. It takes effect at the time Electoral Commission opens nomination. So now me say me Mahama can say election ye be nomination na ora indum or ye mistake any sign man the Supreme Court no can say time ye be nomination ti ka say amamu 1 week time ye be nomination na wo ba be fan at that time no now was say we making sure say you don't owe allegiance to another country and sana wo beba so enti Mahama no me hu say asema wo kan me imagine say oh yes speculation or o de bamba dia wo kan nyina is speculative so why do na wo kire but Supreme Court no ahye mmra Supreme Court on although omunte say parliament omutimi legislation no omoye interpretation of the constitutional mmra so ati e bia ne Justice Abdullahi case now they call na omo kire mu na over parliament for omutimi shemra no it is Supreme Court interpretation now omo kire no e kire say oh free no ekono so obi tie na so person o stand a member of parliament na bia wo land a UK for paper and a US for paper and a Germany for paper make sure say we solve that problem no and say we be picking nomination form no at the time I be a nomination. And yes, be
in the process. Okay, has to say, pursuant to Article 94 2A, is the time for determining whether a citizen is qualified to be a member of parliament by reason of not owing allegiance to any country other than Ghana. The date on which a candidate files his documents with the Electoral Commission to contest parliamentary elections, or the date when a candidate wins the election for member of parliament. This is
no.
It's not about say be a picking from fence for election that only as a we renounce so and sana what to sana mono.
That
is why I was asking you sir no yes ube wie no waba and answer in the process of doing it now we so.
Now, in addition, Supreme Court, of course, because the real, I don't know, I will not pretend say Supreme Court na a kukudam legal brains 7 at national. Now me ko bisa me the margin abet na ha say me ni omo ba beka. Tatukata krako ya na form. Then to say me then you need to go to the court. But you need to go to the Supreme. Can I maintain the floor? There may be some training say Supreme Court number ruling. Oh, there what can you know? Speculative. So we feel so case. Go and take it to the court. But until so the court no no way and then rano. It's no was here they can and I try daily graphic no black and white. Why should I use my mind to speculate when the thing is in front of me? And there was a medical. So I say, you are not the only law student. You understand? By the way, we are law student. We are apprentice. It's your master for work as a Supreme Court for your master. You are not the only law student in this room. You know, it's a American over. I feel no Supreme Court and they say renunciation. No, it should be a Canada for no or issue certificate. And yes, if you are all simple say, the same Poname can say, if you are all say on your citizen view, no, we bet me I can say on your citizen view, and act, and I will behave to say, be our own yes citizen view. But according to Supreme Court interpretation, no, country now are renounced citizenship, no. I was so issue with certificate. And other day, no. So I'm saying, wait me I can say on your citizen view. And in fact, can we hear opinion question, honorable judge question, according to the Supreme Court, no, he hasn't got a case. And I stand with the Supreme Court of Ghana. So I say, I don't see the need to reinvent the wheel. In Penny for no Supreme Court now, the knowledge and our interpret no. That is what we are going by. It is if you say Supreme Court is so clear in their interpretation. Now if you be one more so apprentice or law school. Now say no ba episode say Supreme Court you're wrong. And that's what about speculation. I think it is disingenuous. And I say, disingenuous, I say, hey, Yanka say we can't but the credibility Mamusa. So Supreme Court no the no makano. You're right.
And apart from Ghana, jurisdictions such as Great Britain apart from Ghana, jurisdictions such as Great Britain have similar provisions in their laws bounding allegiance to citizenship.
Yes.
Section 42 of British Nationality Act 1981, as amended, provides that listen has say but they are saying oath of allegiance, I name swear by Almighty God that on becoming a British citizen, on becoming a Ghanaian citizen, I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth so and so, and her heirs and successors according to law. It's the same thing that applies to Ghana.
Sure.
And also in our review of other texts also reviews allegiance to be that of fidelity.
Yes.
Loyalty, submission and acceptance of the authority and power of the sovereign or state in return for the protections, rights, privileges, and resources given by the sovereign state as a function of being a citizen.
Sure. And in this case, the sovereign state under discussion is the Republic of Ghana, not Canada. Further, I will share the case of I will share the case of Asare. Goodness, 1 minute. in the case of Asari versus Attorney General. So
Asari versus Attorney General 2012.
Exactly. Supreme Court in say I say as far back as 2012, no, court in the chair say citizenship was bound to loyalty to the state and allegiance. Therefore, there is no ambiguity. And all kind. So, owing allegiance to a country other than Ghana, no, it's not a way I'll bet me at the Akwa Parliament, no. So, I say, me feel say Supreme Court
or hold any public office.
Precisely. Me feel say Supreme Court interpretation, no. Me feel say interpretation by Supreme Court, no. A kron pa. NDC for no. Any Mahama at the moment, no. As apprentice, a master for a kind of master apprentice. Masa aye adwuma wie na apprentice abegina ha beti so ho no Mahama jai saade na wo ye no. By the way omunya 7-0 meboa the ruling no that was 7-0. Now if I'm not mistaken now one day you ruling in favor of NDC 7-0 case bia
my Jerry way
Auditor General.
Yes, the Auditor General case. Thank you. Mama Nkasa.
So stop that thing.
It's my chance. It's Mama Nkasa. The American say, Tama, Attorney General, Auditor General case he buy in one day 7-0 say President Akufo-Addo. I mistake no. Man, this NDC for say one United. No more Supreme Court no.
Unanimous
FC. Thank you. Man, this is unanimous NDC for unanimous FC. So, and I want Mahama to come on that issue. So, I call ye ma mudie.
Oh, so I'm saying on NDC.
Oh, Jaisa, but Yanka so your NDC. Mebo, Minka say, Mr. Minka so Oradom level, NDC ni. But what I'm saying is,
a citizen of Ghana.
Sure. But what I'm saying is that I did not hear the NDC come out to complain against the 7-0 in favor of Domlevo.
Okay.
I want to hear from Mahama on that. How come they didn't say anything like that?
Okay.
So I say, come on, and I say a favor will be a mufu say money in tuna. So then you are happy. But when the Supreme Court says something or makes a ruling, in your favor. Na more fresh Supreme Court. Mama's Supreme Court to know. Na mama nickname. Supreme Court to know. No mama nickname. So this is the heights of disingenuity, and I hope some Mahama will just be honest with the Ghanaians and address this issue. Make Mahama God when you are them hey. I was who I apprentice was lost. I don't know lost to them for them.
Thank you, Medase Soprano Medase. Ade.
Owura Mahama papa no
former president.
Ono kan sembi na make a Mahama say Ghana ha. Owura Mahama bedi ade next time Bronifita of America on teach you on to she on my Ghana da beba be Ghana man penny minam catch
sometimes ye kasa let us be fair and give facts. Yeah, Anyama. So Brian will say min kasa about former Auditor General's issue.
You have time.
The reason why
Supreme Court really be a call in favor of government in power na bibia mo kasa wo ho ama mo to Supreme Court no kwa din say omo ya unanimous FC adentin na Yera Domelevo Supreme Court ruling in his favor 7-0 no one meka bibi and for one kashe yantemonka. That is his complaint.
And America say, before we will come up with whatever commentary that will come up with,
and also man call for judgment.
We assess the outcome of the case. Is it not right knowledge in our constitution say, Auditor General's department, an independent body, not Anameboa. It is a right knowledge say. The Auditor General's office is independent. It is a court. Now court affirming the provisions in the constitution that no president has the mandate to be any Auditor General. They affirm our usual position. You know what I'm saying? So if you are assessing the outcome and we feel like it is in tandem with the law, we are fine with it. What do you want us to say?
Many the argument say omo assess here na omo feel say it is in tandem with them. And the man can. The man can say every decision from the Supreme Court is in consonance. No. Every decision from the Supreme Court, a legitimate and legal and constitutional. I know the me bow my kasa Bama. It the American says Supreme Court ma ruling. Now you 7-0. Can be 7-0 omo complaining. From level case ni 7-0. Why aren't you complaining? I feel the old now
two. Let's share with you this document. Document way. Two Baku emanated from the Council of State, current Council of State.
Okay.
16th May 2022.
Okay.
Don't worry, okay.
Okay.
What you for now no more.
Mathematio.
Two. On the 8th of September 2022, way from the Speaker of Parliament, there is a proposed amendment from the Council of State to Parliament on this same issue of dual citizens standing for election and holding public office under this regime. Under
this constitution.
No, under this in terms of the MPP,
government in power.
Government in power. And our Parliament.
What is the issue about?
The issue, OTA. I see John Mahama, Edenano, Akase Oba, people that hold dual citizenship will be allowed to hold public office. Listen to me carefully. But the same proposal is ongoing at the Parliament.
So what's your point?
My point is that it is something the government of the day succumb to it. Sir, it is meaning. No, tell me, I'm making a point. That it makes meaning. Sir, it makes meaning. You are saying, sir, John Mahama is re-echoing what your government is already doing. But in another place, you said you can. So, Bedouin Penia, don't implement by president organ.
Oh,
Mama, according to the document, I will see a kita which say Parliament is now sitting on this case to amend the constitution to allow Ghanaians with dual citizenship to come and hold public office here.
Let's share with your producer before I go, and he can
share mommy. No my number. Share mommy says here. I want to look into it. I want to look into it and then.
Let us not make double standard on this. Do you get me? Into the organ, the party cry. So don't create the impression that what John is saying
is evil and it's illegal.
So Prino said, we are saying that the Supreme Court doesn't have the power to interpret.
I didn't say that.
Oh, NDC is saying that don't have the power for interpretation.
You see,
the position is why name say when it comes to interpretation of the law, when you are at any lower court on any issue, not say you do interpretation, the whole proceeding echo Supreme Court. The board of contention is over Kaya Peter Mewu case. They call Supreme Court. Okay, and say about determination of parliamentary. It is the jurisdiction of the High Court. They are the first court of instance about parliamentary. So that is our bone of that they could interpret and leave the substantive issue of the eligibility of his election to the High Court. You get me, please.
The issue said they needed the interpretation. And the interpretation that you have to go to the Supreme Court for them to interpret it for you.
Then they call an interpretation of Article 94. Of qualification and
it's not the case. He wants to spin.
Don't worry.
I see jurisdiction of the court. Again, the highest court of the land dismissed a preliminary legal objection raised by Mr. Kwesen that the court did not have jurisdiction. Supreme Court no jurisdiction to hear the case. Mr. Kwesi had argued that the suit was primarily an election petition seeking to remove him from office as an MP, and therefore it was the High Court that had jurisdiction to entertain such actions. In dismissing the preliminary injunction, the Supreme Court held that the case before it was an interpretation case. Dear me person, mama no see Mr. Dear me person, Mr. Asam na woka no. One one tiasie Supreme Court ne say, omo feel say electoral petition. Or no Supreme Court ne say no, and yeah electoral petition. Yeah, so what's your point? That's the Supreme Court has spoken.
Yeah, to us.
Wajia to move say interpretation.
Supreme Court is saying say a interpretation.
Right. I mean, Bodine wa ha. I share some 20 years. How continue now? Bodine, it is you're wrong. Bodine na big crampon you hail him as a lawyer. Who is Bodine? About law the life of some people don't come. You're wrong. Apprentice for me. You should allow me to talk. Mami wa sasa. Yeah, you two say about interpretation a Supreme Court and the earlier position is that after interpretation, what did they do?
They take it back to High Court and
yes, but that's not the issue under discussion. At
the end, what did they do?
But I said the High Court has already ruled and I'm
do interpretation. When you are in court, an issue of constitutional interpretation about you file for stay of execution. You halt proceedings.
You halt, okay.
Now what goes Supreme Court?
Interpret
after that
of the article.
You come back.
They were discussing jurisdiction. Almost say a High Court and a jurisdiction to handle the electoral case.
According to the
NDC, and the Supreme Court said that is wrong. Actually, a jurisdiction case, a interpretation case, and it's within their ambit. One more apparel and one more can't
problem with that.
Problem with that. That's what you are saying. So, Supreme Court near wrong, and I think you should, be careful about the way Supreme Court.
The current MPP Amewu. Are you not privy to say Amewu asem Eko Supreme Court the court? Court ni say eba alimentary. The court of first in high.
But that is not what is under discussion. And then I'm a person me pointing out, no. Must jurisdiction.
Because you won't understand me.
No, you are wrong.
Yeah. About nomination, Jamaican he, as Soprano said, nomination. Election.
Elections begins from nomination.
That is what all from the and I'm making reference to the case of AKWAFO. And the court na and I'm make court na kasa say you can say nomination and not just on the day until it should be extended when an electoral commission add the forms no scrutinize the forms no that's a they invite the candidate for application and no end there and because ended and in the amount 20 was disqualified. It was error on his forms and I'm into a call your mama that ruling electoral commission called him to go and do the correction and later he was qualified to contest.
So what does the Indum case? How does the Indum case affect this
case,
one?
Does it? Is it in
line with this one?
With this?
It is in line because they are defining when we say nomination. So they took the pain in Papa Kwesi's case.
But Papa Kwesi Indum was not holding a dual citizenship.
Thank you. I said no, and a year can
you see, when you are filing for a rate, you have so many.
That's why you are an apprentice.
One of it, to determine your citizen. One of it to determine when we say an election, what does it mean? So in each of the count, and what
each step,
you sit the court to interpret or work on it for you. There is cases and statute they will refer to. Let me sure say about Papa Kwesi in case now. They took the pain to define when we say nomination, what does it mean? Intine, how per se or refer issues of nomination in every quarter. Who bet me you use the interpretation in the case of Papa Kwesi Indum
as a judicial precedent.
Yes, as a judicial precedent. About allegiance, about eligibility. You can use senator because senator's case was hinged on eligibility with other cases. You can say about nomination. They made us to understand say it is not just a one-stop.
That's it.
Just briefly,
yes.
Just briefly, no. Just briefly, no. The American say, "Oh, aduane na ye no ano. Eye fufuo na ye wo. What you say? Enti wontimi nkonkofa ayi konkonte emefra. What you say? We are talking. Hold on. The case under discussion, no. Allegiance. Now I go for nomination abem. You are mixing apples and oranges. They discuss nomination. But the case under discussion, no. Allegiance. And in the case of allegiance, you say make sure at the opening of nominations, you should be clear about your allegiance. You cannot have any ambiguity. Say
Meba. Getting to the concluding part of the judgment, no. Or say second, I won't make a point. Upon a true and proper interpretation of Article 94(2)(a) of the Constitution, 1992, the decision of the second defendant to permit the first defendant to contest the parliamentary elections in the Aseno constituency when the first defendant had not shown evidence of the cancellation of his citizenship of Canada is an act that is inconsistent with and violates Article 94(2)(a) of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. Third, upon a true and proper interpretation of Article 94(2)(a) of the Constitution, the election of the first defendant as member of Parliament for Asenda was unconstitutional. That is what the Supreme Court has also made it years other day.
Everyone has some one chair uncle.
Yeah, because be no cry
and no day you want to hail a man.
Oh, I'm not hailing him. I'm making
the last now you want to address
what's the problem?
Uraje question how ni say. Uraje question how ni say. Wan koma empanifo na be defend no. Akofra ura Sami Jamfini.
Sami Jamfini na lawyer.
There be some no defend the case. My point is I have consistently said say me I am not fully I'm not qualified, not fully, but I'm not qualified to call to question what these great judges. When you went to Mahama and you were on air.
Oh, are you? You were on air. That's at the end of the day. Nado conceded, accepted. Also on the court, he accepted.
Disagreed with the court before.
I said, compare me tapes. I am saying what I used to say in American and me need to me say make call it to question. Gravoy and Pennyfoy and didn't hear Professor Juan wine like justice. Mahama
Amagacha, Justice of the Supreme Court. VJM Duche, Justice of the Supreme Court. M. Ousu, Mariama Ousu, right? Justice of the Supreme Court. We are certified. J. Tokono, Justice of the Supreme Court. Professor H.J.A.N. Mensah Bonsu, Mrs. Justice of the Supreme Court. Yoni Kulendi, Justice of the Supreme Court. B.F. Akayenzu, Justice of the Supreme
Court. Their judgment to question. Say, lawyer student Mahama number call on the judgment to question.
What is wrong with you people? The three of you, maybe I've taken off. What is wrong with the three of you? Mama, Godwin, Godwin, eh?
Because the lawyer for a lawyer penny chachuti kata ejani akose dem edwene ho edwene di obeye na owura mahama out me chain and all defend chachuti.
Okay, thank you very much for your contributions on the Supreme Court issue. My main reading questions kakra na fe yan to so ye traditional rulers and then the school feeding caterers. James Bamucho mama nonko for mama. James Mensah, kudos mama for always using the correct title Equia Ghana instead of Amagana, which is erroneously being used by several people. Me that's ya correct side we are still people come on here to say Amagana. We are Equia Ghana, not Amagana. Eh, papa no de yen born no. Amagana me to one ama ono na hayen. The name is because the Independence Day no Wednesday. 6th March 1957 was a Wednesday. Huh? What's it there? Gokosh. A jury no, see, in February 2020, he traveled on Canadian passport to Ghana from Canada. So his filing to renounce his citizenship in 2019 is immaterial. There are so many learned lawyers in the NDC than you are. So stop arguing about what you don't know. Pabna Dankwa, Mame, the man was not sure of winning the seat, so he decided to secure himself the parliamentary seat before renouncing his citizenship. Andrew John Emmanuel Mary, hey, and was say, okay, Pacho, where who here pa mama menka obi de yaba. Osi good day, please let us be aware of these scammers and fraudsters. They will call you and tell you that they are working in NLA office and they want to help you win lotto. Please, it's a lie. Never believe them. They are in different groups, most especially WhatsApp with different people's pictures as their status. Immediately they call you and speaks with you. They will tell you to go to WhatsApp. They will show you fake testimonies that was done by their group. They will even show you fake tickets that they wrote themselves or some chats. But never you believe them. They even use God's name. They are that they are Christians or they go to so and so church. They sit in groups. So when the first person calls you, he or she will tell you to call their madam or manager. They will also tell you that you need to pay for the registration fee and also your first stake have to be in the office. This all is a big lie. A word is enough for the wise. Means I'm going for a so so. Omo ya kromfo no kra na. Omo fro hello. Me we ya kromfo. When your friend make a hello, I sense that in your tone. It means so kra. Last week or so. Nipa ne friend me wa bɔ me din nyina o. Wa bɔ obi ani ho oni me a obe friend me abɔ me din nyina. Obo me din nyina am say hey. There's some de mujimi mu ahu nyansa da. Free me phone so kɔ e na ono apa o ka te ne ho. What you say? Musa Batwa, the open-minded impartiality of the EC has been thrown to the dogs. Article 94 of the Constitution, the Public Elections Regulations, CI 2020 is cleared without ambiguity. A candidate must be a registered voter in the constituency before he or she must be allowed to contest, but is different in the case of assay not by election. Hammond.
Which one is superior? You are a student lawyer, answer.
Hammond the Safo and also Sylvester is very intelligent. You for Azafo ni biem na abahano. Frank Azuma, get out from the. Also, we are intelligent. Listen to your submission. No, Kasa. A quick one on the school feeding. And maybe mama text messages in Kakrana. It will be a high risk of movement for the It will be a high risk of movement for the NDC if they are still going to present Mr. Kwesi to contest for the upcoming election in his constituency. And it's only Ghana such irresponsible movement could be tempted because some politicians think they are above the law. Looking at the criminal implications, I will kindly urge our judicial institution to be all alert and fearless to ensure our constitutional laws are well defined and implemented by giving a taste of the law to Mr. Kwesi's violations. Ose kwaku or the way for US of A, UK, and or the buy was a batch of Hachame, and or no at the buy. I always say NDC is a virus in Ghanaian democracy. Just listen to Mahama ranting in the studio line. We have to kick them in opposition forever. Sharifa Secretary Dani is the only candidate who can win in Kwantasa constituency seat for NPP. Piti Brem, Abrewanko Oti region, and also Ediway Efim Ebaye. Interzone Kaswa. Good afternoon, people of Ghana and my unbelievable, unstoppable, unpredictable BMZ1. Please, Ghanaians must be vigilant or sober not to give presidential seat for NDC or any party. Only NPP government can drive us to better emancipation. Thanks. Hello to people of Gomuan Crime, Pequace Fashions, and Honorable Mavis Howard Kumsin Kaswa, member of Parliament for Kaswa. My friend Godwin Mahama is talking plenty without substance. I have read the judgment, and per my understanding, the NDC and Kwesi did not defend the reliefs of the plaintiff. What they did was to explain issues that are unrelated to the substantive matter, hence their loss. I think they should keep quiet and focus on the by-elections. And then so news item be about Tommy table. So the people of Asin North are calling on the executive of the NDC to, if they have the people of Asin North at heart, is to change that question for them. That is what the people are saying. I read it. Me can you me find me papers for so huh? Na so na me no be kokasa me so NDC and no MPP.
I'm only saying that we can ask for news.
Thank you. Now you are talking. That's it.
Stop that. Please stop that. I won't forgive you on that. Please, I won't forgive you on that. I said I won't forgive you for that because I never said
also I withdraw.
I'm only referring to the identity. Because we are in this.
I'll be Sam and say, how would I even know? Say they are NDC people calling. But and I maybe say, but you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't even know their party colors. Somebody will be standing there. The way we do our voice note. So you go to the person, you greet, and you ask.
There's also a case that an opposition party people can also make that statement. You see, you're speculating again.
Our reporters don't work in that line.
In that line. That's what I told you that we will see. We have handled.
That is what I agree with you.
I have told it. We will see what to do.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Maybe I'm Supreme Court. Yeah, the curtains number down.
But still, Mahama, how do you know anything?
Maybe you don't know. I placed question mark there.
No, I didn't get it that way. I didn't get it that way.
Your question was irrelevant because he didn't.
Please.
Please.
We are going next topic.
Okay. Adade Brem. 2 minutes. There be Adade Bra. 2 minutes. School feeding caterers reject proposed 1 city 20 pesos increment per child. Caterers meeting the minister. Minister of Gender says that there is nothing they can do. And so. Okay. Yeah, I think you better tax a crowd.
I believe that
even caterers proposed 3 cities.
Under them, it was.
Once in the only deducted tax was in there by 97 pesos.
And American say 80 pesos. In fact, the 80 pesos tax now more there with under them, not still the betting withholding tax. The American say even under the NDC, the woman will be 80 pesos. Points there no round no ma come out.
2024.
Say wait for me.
Yes.
Mesre, my be a be fast, be improve, be boy yen. A be an MAAME, who how would he? That doesn't Mahama doesn't need that. Mami minna me catch or me say.
I understand.
Nkwala yi bi wo ho no ma wanya sa 1 meal a day na obetchire come the whole day.
Yeah.
And whoever is managing it, know the things are in previous. Got me 2-year-old, you know. Yaman the breakfast, yaman the lunch. Na ya ni snack every you know. Na what's am inadequate. Get a boy. Under them it was bad.
Soprano.
Under us it is bad.
Thank you. I want to be 20 pesos in a day. They say, won't me found Rome, Panaquia. But I want me found Rome, Panaquia. None other than me here a clip will be Matusebi. Now me here clip will be a social media.
Oh, who said I had trying to you?
I China me, it's China me, and I watch me time maybe. Now me here, you're not vice president of Ghana. One Queen Ursula of Dansoma, Her Majesty. Now Omo Koto Wachi. Vice president.
Away.
I can't do men.
Don't come in.
I'm not lying. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm going to watch it. That's all money. I'm going to watch it. Can't do men. So I see a form. No money more. Vice President today. I share there be mask. Mask. Minimum say COVID. Cover. Minimum say be an assent to a honum dia. But no I share mask. So, and I will jina hono so pe wache. Yanti bi mano. Also pe wache ni kosua na yam say wele. And was here nya ba akoma Queen Ursula of Dansoma, Her Majesty. Honorable. If you any catch and say ba ku bia ye 30 cedis. It ni me no ye 60 cedis. O say Vice President no. Na onim say Accra ha na yet no. Yeah, oh sorry, no pa. Ordinary person, so person odidi kakra na o me. Yeah, 20 cedis. 20
cedis. And breakfast too.
And America no. Unse na me make sure say yeah no na ye di breakfast lunch ni aka bom. Konkonte they see 5 cedis in him. Ya 7 cedis. Ya muade no ya trying 5 10 cedis. 5 cedis. So and he said wo Vice President 30 cedis and so now ma Accra 1 cedi 20 pesos. Meanwhile, as you can imagine, Vice President Mani Queen Ursula Mano, Royal Children, Mrik, any a war. Oh, and no, you got near the ade. Omu ko square lunch.
And you got square 3 cedis.
And you got no more and trade any beer and
okay.
Fan yogo,
pure yogurt.
And I Queen Ursula Benum fan yogo. So, Enti omo hwe no omo kan ye.
Okay.
So me feel say the children are our future. Bra ye bring na no. Incidentally oba me kan man wasi. E ka na na do achechira so aga na nyina. E sankura we na ebetua. Ye momo ni sika yi bie. Nana. Ye momo ni nye 5 na ye den.
That's it.
But I was very happy say.
Momo ba mbetua he.
I was very
and I'm betwem.
Okay. Even the NDC national chairman former policy.
Okay. Who they want to make it? But mobile who be biana.
Things are for introduce. Let me be increase. The bone of contention now is significant increase, and stress our bambia hasn't increased. But almost to say even upon the increase, I am increasing. So
inadequate.
And only the issue. Man, the only. I am about caterers, I am MPP women organizers. And I had the school feeding.
Now someone this is some of them are it's the same thing. It's the same thing. They are Ghanaians. They are Ghanaians. Yes, speaking in friends. I bet one quadano. Something I bet one quadano.
Me cast some European. The American say what qualifies them? I'm buying. I'm on that mandate is because I'm a party for that is simplicity.
And what does the increment got to do with being a party person? And then their mama went quite a menonia dream. Fine. Everybody knows say NPP, the women organizers or whatever, women in NPP, any of the mama. It is the NDC also the same thing.
Have I said no? Una unim say MPP women organization. And no be an You get me?
But what has that got to do with the increment?
Me person oh dia kofa mama yire na ma.
Oh dia tia na me person. One enter can person o ma me first no. Because anytime I come in, this has always been the usual of them. Because I'm person ya can no.
Gaza.
You get me? You see, young person what you see and say the government is why so much insensitive to the extent that ni own and crofua.
Okay.
Woman will juma or muya no. He's being insensitive to them. You don't care. And come on the post of my message.
Mate.
What am I gonna say? You see, I'm my head. That Nanado Danko Akufado. Ebe ye bibia fadi ewe ho a. Anka waye dada. Let me tell you why.
I said, Grandma, can't see there's nothing I can do.
No, they are even on strike. You have been behind this console. Not today.
Yeah.
Is it the first time Omo are fighting for increment?
No.
Inti sanko be bibia fa ho a. Anka onya dada. Emre oba first. Na sikampo ewo ho bebre nu. He couldn't increase it to that extent. Na near mismanagement. And he has IMF. Which IMF is even saying they must review all their flagship programs. You get me? What I'm telling you is that Abiding is sensitive to Ghanaians. Because they're surprised and your ordinary people and Omoma Ewa basic school Anamwa. Some profuni bebre and to something here then to Abama. So these are the people who must be your first priority. But because again say any ministers in ma any appointees in ma but many who boja any ordinary Ghanaians in manintinu. On one adwene and call the cry of the citizens. You get me? You can't be any poor. Say, politically, so that we assume say, me man will do man. I want to make sure because I am a party person. I will you get me? But to the extent that even ponu, I'm a party man, the man will do man in ponu. The government, they are crying and the government doesn't want to listen. You see, I end with this. They have nothing. They have nothing for this country. The likes of Alan, Kennedy, Japan, Naomia, tell me Obia, apart from former secretary, Boachi, I'm going to say, former secretary, Yomuyi,
you know him,
MPP,
Japan.
Yes, apart from Noah, not only, I think with fewer, or more need the current, and now the Danko Akufo-Addo Abem, almost the rest has played significant role. To taking this country to where we are. You don't wait to become a president before you support a president to succeed because it tells you how wicked these people are. Want to become president before what they have, they will exhibit for you and I to enjoy. They have nothing.
A quick one on the Supreme Court banning traditional rulers from endorsing political parties and candidates. It's already in the constitution. They are ready. Under 1 minute.
What the court is just doing. What the law.
Guys, Omo Bumrano so. If you know,
court na ka ho asem no. Eni say o mpesa unkwan kasa next time we invite na man one on one. Me say anka me.
You said they should give you now I step in, you can
yes. Mami so no money very quickly no. So case be or me a friend Elom the
and the lawyers are
Elom K Goni case. So and no or say omo party say Supreme Court no. Yeah, on the traditional chiefs. I see the Supreme Court held the endorsement by chiefs favor candidate A over candidate B no amounts to party politics. Case near Elom A Goni. So, and I was saying, when a chief praises achievements of a government, it does not amount to active politics. Because I buy na ya idea, and no, any active politics. Now, make idea quickly. Chiefs and party politics. I said the 1992 Constitution does not expressly defined the term active party politics. And should I explain it? But during the consultative assembly, and a consultative assembly, no, womo and a omo what your friend of plenary omunetimi efre edwa esusu ehon echichire constitution no. The consultative assembly omo edi nkomo no. Or see there was an attempt to define active party politics. Now almost say at a active party politics, no, it means being a member of a political party, attending for election to any office to which a person may be elected as a representative of a standing for election, any office which a person may be elected as a representative of a political party, holding office in or forming a political party.
Meba soprano, mame so one of why the waka ni na understandable. But no constitution now making it clear say traditional rulers should not take part in active politics.
Yes.
Wait or say they should refrain from endorsing.
But that is active politics.
No.
It is.
Say me yeah adwuma.
Yeah.
Na me endorse honorable Kennedy akompra kwa Japan say.
Aye. Active politics. Because what support will be our
look bearing in mind what you just read.
Yes.
Bearing in mind what you just read. As what be active politics, standing for election, and stuff like that. But we know or say men nyina baby akwa nka say montuma sumesi montuma obenten montuma party way montuma
speaking in public or publishing anything in writing to the public for or on against any political party or the candidate of a political party.
Okay.
So what you say?
Martin.
You see, so we running important. Yeah, the political setting. Well,
if you keep quiet as a chief or as a because even your church, you know, and you one political party.
Yes, members.
We have different political parties. And you go Jinaka say, Medium support us Messia. Madam was over 2 hours.
BBS na mamembo Ghana for kakra.
Bibi Benes.
Oka come na yi na obi send me message. You say na ye property rate yi. Na nipa na send ya ma me say nkrofo ahya ase Fred.
Eno achi e be ba so.
Hadia for real. You nua ba na o ma kini wo US no. Moment guys say ebia na nke ya oyire na wunia ba na ya ne saa o until proven guilty no she is innocent. She says so onya guilty as a citizen, a co-citizen. I support Hadia Hadia for real. Na me kire Ghana for say mummy enta ye nua ba ya chi ye mu bi wo hono ma ya chechiri kuo a real amumeka ye Ghana.
Telephone numbers na be at 0302243540. So bet me a friend now do adventure abba. Hey, and that dear. Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon, mama.
Me ba chodi ni be afrefi.
We are cafe for be any customer.
Yo, yet you.
Don't see the usually the thoughts are no. Yedi kan ma sia me papa kwa sia da. E be 2 bank amen. I'm just to down push and I will sit up also for I was center. And the chame penny for mame what is the soprano anase soprano mame me buzo
what's it doing
soprano anase there you know
your friend is Sylvester Sapon soprano
Sylvester okay be what is to contain and say 5 people but some people that they ever not to contain Oko toko ko to level wa o de beye en ko te Ghana for nya that can tama to be institution no that one to put on money penisa them wow part no enya be be tira na be do MPP but then e pass ya ebu o man a omo magana ko dem ma me pre no sino because the sequence there no ke be send this to be na mo ya mo nya na mo am ade ade ademu sakandi no sabi onu ye tani nti and the did no and this for na ya mo de ho onu pati there dey just sabi wapia na aboa sabi onu de ho
Medasi hello good afternoon
good afternoon
ne ba chodi ni be bia frefi
Only a bema, I'm winning.
Happy birthday, Amweni.
Yo, Madam.
Thank God.
Yo, Mammy, you're not going to Japan. Not a see a fan, you're about the 15 vice president. Yeah, okay, come on, or buy yes, one of the didn't know foundation, you know, you was market. And what coming, Andrew Foundation is too much. Yeah, and young dear, and this me, ever cut the papa, and your ma and pizza. But Timam phone dear, almost Unian and Kufuado, I get. And then this needs to say, then you buy and you didn't get the organize it. Maybe some minimum organizer way at Anoma. No, hold you buy a crown, or that's someone. Young permanent, but somebody no bar, no palm cry. It's a no more can, no more sort of send a battle, and I'll be jack at your tour, and I'll be jack at your tour. Now, I never talk about their man to come and ready. Oh, yeah, no, kind of cry, almost on my mouth.
Medasipi, hello, good afternoon. That's what Dini baby afraid. Hey, yo, young quite actually.
Mammy, tell you for why. Yakupo, Jimmy, Chowman, Penny, I am Sammy, John.
Needs FM Neo.
The way you're gonna need to see nothing. Who's me for 4 friends? And if I go for the mom, we are. I mean, when you pass on the bar, we are. They've been present for a 4 friends. You know where you're gonna eat. Let's say your friend. Who you hold back? And Mammy, for 1 year again. My friend, they do 2 videos. What is the 21st one? And you want your home? What? On year, on your back, on church school fees, on challenge day, on Chawata Bay. And then also, Chimu, sir, on the track and tomato. One of wood that, one of the way at the year, Uncle Football, who don't get your own church school fees.
Medasipi, hello, good afternoon. That's all Dini baby afraid. Yanko.
You rather than some Tianopa, with the Cassa, you for can, I was your 4 channel, 2024. Why? Mammy, any other my DC for no. Or what do you say? I will say, Mama Kaya, I know I will zero. Who said 2008, ever 2009? You were before Ghana, I'm my DC for no. Like a colony upon the thousand cities. I had 10 West. No Cosia, no back with 1,000 cities. I had 10 West. You were before German DC, you were at a mass by our day. No colonna me to be no. And I go to Doctor, 1,000 to me. Yeah, I was 10 West, no.
Medase. Hello, good afternoon. Bajodini baby afraid. Hello. Good afternoon. Bajodini baby afraid. Yanko.
Mami. Nanado, and about young. The very when you see it, Mammy, where do you win to me when I got it? Won't be that. Won't be that. The very when you see here, tell them we won't be that. Come on, tell them for 3 young. Yabadia, Yabadia, 5 years, Mammy, Mamma. The villain is, I don't go Ghana. Also, no, I have. About the say, or yes, to me, and when I'm my experience. No, catch him at the then we are about recruit. Not on second to what? Please, when you go to the father. Nobody give us another woman.
Medasipi, hello, good afternoon. Patopi. I was here for honey, I didn't cost I had the more ABC. As I can see, and come crew and penny for a buy a guest. I mean, no didn't come more. Nana Kwame Adade or Waham Sanso and Sylvester Sapo Soprano and Godwin Mahama Wada Romano Boy man come to train the Bria Sadaka Sengoma production crew Joe Damia Manjero Sajma Freeman and I Safo. Wada Romano Bomi Chidami Jumedi by ye. Midin MAAME BIAMAH AKWAFO me sorry Ola Mike Beje no agent atadia akofie. Medo bibia onya bre frɛ onya bre etie yen. We send a text message nyame onhira wo. No sia bo pepe pan so I de no sia kase bo no free peace 104.3 FM beba. Ada mo nyina ase ama monity makra